Test 1, 2. This is the mic test. Test 1, 2. Test. A very good morning, one and all. I am Hechel Da Costa from the Department of Political Science, Kamal College, Goa. It is said, invest your time wisely. It will bring you the greatest wealth. And knowing this very well, all you beautiful people have joined us for this national webinar titled Human Rights, Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, organized by Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat Club and the Department of Political Science, Kamal College, Goa. We greatly acknowledge and appreciate your presence. We are honored to have amongst us two very important individuals. The principal of Nirmala College, Ranchi, Dr. Sister Jyoti Kispota, and the principal of Kamal College, Goa, Dr. Aldina Braganza Egomes. A very warm welcome, Dr. Sister Jyoti and Ma'am Aldina. It's a privilege to have you all amongst us. We are also joined by the faculty members of Nirmala College, Ranchi, and the faculty members of Kamal College, Goa, along with their students and all our other esteemed participants. We are greatly honored by your gracious presence. Melissa Gates says, a woman with a voice is by definition a strong woman. But the search to find that voice can be remarkably difficult. And agreeing with this reality, this national webinar aims at enlightening and empowering the audience about human rights, especially the rights of women through CEDAW, that is, Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. This webinar also commemorates International Day of Girl Child, which will be celebrated on 11th of October, with a beautiful theme for this year, My Voice, Our Equal Future. We also look forward to witness the exchange of experiences of young women from the states of Goa and Jharkhand. Well, a true welcome is never complete without warm words and a warmer gesture. I request our Honorable Principal, Dr. Aldina Braganza Egomes, to welcome the gathering.
Thank you so much, Hejul, for this beautiful welcome note and setting the tone for the webinar today. A very good morning to everybody and a warm welcome to the institution of Kamal College. A special welcome to the Nirmala College Institute, Ranchi, the principal, Dr. Sister Jyoti Kispota, the faculty and students from the Ranchi Nirmala College. A very warm welcome to our institution. A warm welcome also is extended to the faculty members of the Political Science Department at Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat, our students from Kamal College, and everybody else who's attending this webinar. They say, the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. It is such a powerful statement because the influence of women is far-reaching. And until and unless we own this and feel empowered by our thoughts, the world is not going to change, neither is our nation. Women, crimes against women, discrimination against women that is happening today in today's India is saddening. And it is rightly held. This webinar is held at a crucial time when women have to feel this power within them and feel motivated so that they can raise their voices against the injustice, against people who believe that women should stay indoors and they should be at home as cooks and, just not have a voice. Political leaders who think like that have to be told today, this is not true. This is a new India. We have women who will be pioneers and leaders in this field. And so it is, I congratulate both Bharat, Sresh Bharat and the Political Science Department for organizing this webinar titled Human Rights, Conventions on Eliminations of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. And I wish you all a very fruitful discussion. Okay, I hope this webinar throws light into our own lives and how we can change and become the voice of change. I wish you all a very fruitful deliberation and have a great day and stay safe. Thank you. Over to you, Hazel.
Thank you, ma'am, for your warm words of welcome and definitely the continuous support. It is our honor to hear a few precious words from the principal of Nirmala College, Ranchi, Dr. Sister Jyoti Gispota. Sister, may I request you to kindly address the gathering?
Thank you. Respected Principal, Dr. Aldina, Carmel College, Arts, Science and Commerce, Goa, Ms. Renisa Fernandez, EBSB Coordinator, Carmel College, Goa, Dr. Debjani Roy, EBSB Coordinator, Nirmala College, Ranchi, all faculty members of Carmel College, Goa, and Nirmala College, Ranchi, dear students of Carmel College, Goa, and Nirmala College, Ranchi, and all dear participants, wish you all a very good morning and blessed good morning to you all. First of all, I thank the Almighty for pairing us these two women college. And I'm extremely happy that we are growing in relationship, in bonding, and the way we are interacting through this virtual platform, even during this lockdown period, that shows that God is with us. Our spirit is leading us towards betterment of the society, betterment of our nation, I am sure, and this will lead for betterment of the world at large. And today, as you organize the webinar on the topic, Human Rights, Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination for women, discrimination. And that is also especially meant for the students of these two paired institutions, that is Carmel College, Goa, and Nirmala College, Ranchi. I believe if these students of two institutions are empowered, they will make the difference. They will bring the changes in our society, in our nation, and world at large. As we had spelled out when we began Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat, to promote cultural unity, all unity in diversity, and many more objectives we had set. And I think to some extent we are able to meet. And today's this webinar will still bring much more deeper aspirations and will lead us into bonding between these two institutions and then society and country at large. I take this opportunity to congratulate our EBSB coordinators, Ms. Renisha Fernandez, Dr. Debjani Roy, and our EBSB club coordinator, Dr. Srirupa Roy. They are showing their dynamism, creativity in organizing all types of activities during this lockdown period, during this pandemic period, trying to bring us together, change makers. I believe together we can, and I wish you all the best. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, dear sister, Dr. Jyoti Kiswata, for your words of appreciation and definitely the continuous support that we are receiving from your institution. Well, before I introduce to you our speaker for the day, a few instructions to all the participants. Dear participants, kindly make sure your microphone and your camera is put off throughout the webinar. Please make sure you do not share your screen during the session. In case of any technical issues, kindly put it up in the live chat box. Please make sure you type your questions, if any, for the resource person in the chat box only. The resource person would answer the same at the end of a session. A feedback link will be posted in the YouTube live chat box towards the end of the webinar. You are requested to fill up the feedback form and submit it before 12 noon today. So you have to submit it before 12 noon today. An e-certificate will be emailed to you after we receive your feedback form. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you our speaker for today, Ms. Louisanne Sequeira, a senior faculty and HOD, Department of Political Science, Tamil College, Goa. She's an associate professor with vast teaching experience. She has several seminar presentations and paper publications to her credit. She has always been interested in venturing into the areas concerning women. It's an honor to have you to speak to us, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. Am I audible? Test 1, 2. Yeah. My presentation, as you see, will largely cover up the following areas: a definition of human rights, what are the characteristics of rights, and then we come down forms of discrimination against women. Now, what's the meaning of human rights? The expression human rights denotes all those rights which are inherent in our nature and without which we cannot live as human beings. In other words, human rights are very much an eternal part of nature of human beings for the essential development of our personality, our human qualities, our intelligence, talent, conscience, and to enable us to satisfy our spiritual and higher needs. Human rights, when they are guaranteed by a written constitution, are called fundamental rights. The written constitution is the fundamental law of the state. Now, with this broad understanding of what are human rights, let's see what a few more definitions of human rights. Harold Lasky, one of the great political scientists, defines human rights as those conditions of social life without which no man can seek in general to be himself at his best. Durgadas Basu defines human rights as those minimal rights which every human individual must have against the state, other public authority, by virtue of his being a member of human family, irrespective of any consideration. So human rights are very essential to us. We may not recognize them as being important, but every constitution in the world over seeks to guarantee these human rights, which are very much essential for our growth and for our development. Okay. So we now have a very good understanding of what is really human rights and how all constitutions all over seek to guarantee them. I move on to what I call as characteristics of human rights. Okay. The first characteristic of human rights, inalienable. Human rights are conferred on an individual due his very existence. We are all born with our rights. They are inherent to our existence. Irrespective of what family we come, what caste we come, what creed we follow, we all have rights. No one can deny them to us. Human rights are universal in their application. They apply to all people everywhere, irrespective of our status, our condition, or where we live. Okay, you may be in India today or America tomorrow. The rights are applicable to us. They're enforceable. We do not have national borders. Just because I'm a foreigner in another country doesn't mean I lose my rights or I'm denied my rights. I still enjoy my rights. Okay, they're not given to us by any authority or person. They are inherited. We are born with our rights. Okay, they're innate, as we would otherwise say. Another aspect of human rights is they are fundamental, very important, very essential for our growth and our development. Okay, without human rights, our life would be meaningless. The rights that we have, which we take so much for granted. Okay, they're imprescriptible. They're not prescribed. You don't have a prescription to say you enjoy these rights, you do not enjoy those rights. Human rights do not prescribe, and they can never be lost. If you exercise them, it's your choice. You don't exercise them, it's your choice. Okay. So even in the long passage of time, whether you're a beggar or a CEO, all of us have the same rights. There's nothing that he has something special or something more. Human rights are indivisible. They cannot be divided. I can't give you some rights and say you enjoy these and you don't enjoy others. They cannot be denied. They're enjoyed. Okay, they're enjoyed at all times. We exercise them at different occasions in different ways. Consciously, unconsciously, we are all exercising our rights. Human rights are interdependent, okay, because of the fulfillment or exercise of one cannot be had without the realization of other. The right to speak and the right to expression, okay, both go hand in hand. If I have the right to speak, I also have the right to express my views, express my ideas. I can't segregate one from the other. Human rights come without any conditions. I don't have to satisfy any conditions for the fulfillment of rights. Okay, respect of rights is not dependent upon your performing your duty, what's your legal recognition or your status. It is unconditional. You exercise them as they come. Over time, human rights have expanded with the developments taking place in the field of science, technology, and social development. So the extension of human rights has come about with new developments and new innovations so as to safeguard our rights. Okay, so these are, my friends, a few of the characteristics of human rights. Okay, now I come to the main theme of our webinar, which was largely with the motive of making all of you aware of what are the different rights that we enjoy as women. Okay, so this is my theme today, the Convention on Elimination of Discrimination Against Women, broadly known as the CEDAW. Now, this Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women was adopted by the UN General Assembly on the 18th of December 1979. This convention is also called as the International Bill of Rights for Women. By accepting this convention, the states commit themselves to undertake a series of measures basically to stop or to end what we call as discrimination against women in all forms. Okay, we all know of different forms of discrimination that women face. Some may be more open, more vociferous, some may be silent, but this law largely seeks to stop all forms of discrimination. Now, I put down what are the main provisions of the CEDAW. The first one defines what we call as discrimination against women. Anyone who seeks to make a difference, exclude or restrict women because of our sex, okay? Which has the impact of, say, impairing us, not allowing us to function, not allowing us to be recognized, not allowing us to enjoy our rights, okay, which we can exercise, irrespective whether you're married or unmarried, or making any differences between man and women. Okay, so this article largely defines that nobody should discriminate against women. Okay, so whether you're married or unmarried or whatever may be your position, etc., you are entitled to enjoy all the rights, all the fundamental freedoms, which are political, economic, social, cultural, or any other. No one can tell you you're a woman, you can't stand for elections, or you're not allowed to go here, or you can't participate in this. Nothing like that. No discrimination, absolutely. Okay. The second article mandates that the states ratifying, those states that agreed to the convention, declare that they will enshrine gender equality. We make no discrimination between boy and girl, man and woman. If a man can enjoy certain facilities and benefits, so also a woman can. If both have the position, the power, etc. Okay, so in their domestic legislation, so in all domestic laws of countries, we ensure gender equality, parity for both men and women, and repeal all discriminatory provisions that are there in our laws. So we enact new laws, so gives an opportunity. And we see this happening worldwide. We see it happening in our country as well, okay? So we have opened the doors to women in different fields, in different opportunities, largely made available to everybody, okay? The next article of the CEDAW requires states to guarantee basic human rights. That's why I started with my presentation, make you aware, my dear students and faculty members, what are our basic rights. We should not forget what are our basic rights and fundamental freedoms that we women enjoy on the basis of equality. We are as equal as men. There's nothing that is inferiorness, nothing that's subordinate to us. And in all fields, we have proved ourselves, okay? The next article talks about the adoption of certain measures. What steps can be taken by the state? What steps can be taken by the government to make this equality de facto, in fact, a reality? Okay, where women should not be discriminated, women should not be differentiated, and it also makes a provision, or also mentions about maternity being a special protection should not be regarded as gender discrimination. Just because a woman carries the child within her womb doesn't mean that she's doing something, she has to be discriminated on that basis, okay? Article 5 talks about what steps can be taken to modify the social and cultural conduct of men. Okay, men are so used to their own egoistic ideas and thinking. Steps have to be taken to make them realize that women is also on par. She's not only as also on par with him in every aspect. Okay, so we have to eliminate the prejudices we may have. Okay, of wrong notions we may have of the practices that are largely based on inferiority or superiority. Okay, we can't always say that man is superior and women is inferior. So this gender practices should be largely removed is what the CEDAW recommends. It also ensures that family education includes a proper understanding of maternity is a social function and recognition that both men and women have equal responsibility in the upbringing and development of children. That's why today in our country also we have ensured that paternity leave is granted to men, that they also realize that they also have a role in the upbringing of the child. It's not only the responsibility of women alone. Article 6 of the CEDAW obliges states to take all appropriate measures, including legislation to suppress all forms of trafficking in women and exploitation of women. Okay, no doubt we find trafficking of women, exploitation is happening on a large scale, but what steps and measures can be taken? What steps can be taken to rehabilitate women? What can be taken to secure women. So this is what equality in the elections. Women have the right to participate in the political arena, in panchayat, state assembly elections, national elections, and also in non-governmental organizations that may be set up and are concerned with what we call as public and political life of the country. Article 8 provides that states shall guarantee women equal opportunity to represent the government at the international level and also to participate in international organizations. It's not the way that women should be restricted only to participate at local level, state level, at the next states with regard to men if they need to acquire, change or retain their nationality and also the nationality of their children. If I migrate to another country, if my husband takes on the nationality of another country, I also have the right to the same. I cannot be denied of it. And so also my children are entitled to their nationality. Article 10 necessitates equal opportunity for education of the female children, of the female girl child, and also encourages co-education. It's not necessary that when we encourage female education, we should only have women's schools, women's colleges, but co-education should also be encouraged, okay? Equal access should be given to girls and to women especially to participate, okay? Equal opportunity should be given to women to participate in all aspects of athletics, scholar reduced to defines the right to work for women. Okay, the right to work is outlined as an inalienable right. Any women desiring to work should be allowed to exercise this right to work. It requires also equal pay for equal work. Okay, no discrimination because she's a woman doing a job that she gets less pay, and a right to social security. If men have social security, whatever benefits can be accrued to the women in the organization, in the industry, should be granted to her, like paid leave, maternity leave, and no comparison should be largely brought about. So women should not fear a loss of employment because she's on a family she's carrying, or she should not be denied seniority because she's a woman or because she's crossed certain age or social allowances. So dismissal by government or dismissal by organization on grounds of maternity, pregnancy, status of women because of her status that she should not be, should largely be prohibited with shall not be prohibited with sanction. Okay, so women should not lose their jobs or benefits because of the role that she plays. Article 12 creates the obligation of states to take all appropriate measures to eliminate all discrimination against women in healthcare. Okay, whatever facilities are to be extended to women, they should be largely accessed. Okay, available to women. Women should have access to healthcare, including those to family planning. Okay, it's not only that. Another article provision of the CEDAW guarantees women equality in economic and social life. If women are entitled to certain benefits, right to family benefits, she is also entitled to avail of bank loans. She's also entitled to avail of mortgage and other forms of financial credit. Okay, so it's not only in terms of work, but also in terms of credit so facilities available. If as a woman today, as a single parent or as a single woman, I want to avail of a bank loan, I want to mortgage my property, women are allowed under the provisions of the CEDAW. Women can also participate in recreational activities, okay? Recreational activities where women can participate, sports and all aspects of cultural life. There's nothing that is there that says women should not participate or not be encouraged to participate. Article 14 provides a very good article, protection to our rural women. Many a times these rural women are not seen and not heard. So this is a very special provision. It ensures that rural women have different problems, they have different needs, and also encourages their participation into having adequate healthcare facilities, and also to participate in what we call as community activities, have access to agricultural credit. It's not only men who are farmers, there are women also are farmers, and many times they are successful farmers, and they should also have the benefit to enjoy what we call as adequate living standards. Okay, so this is a very good provision brought about by the CEDAW. Another provision of the CEDAW obliges states parties to guarantee women equality before the law. Just because she's a woman doesn't mean we give her a lesser punishment or a more severe punishment, including legal capacity identical to that of men. So what facilities are extended to men, the same should be extended to women as well. It also accords women the same rights as men to choose with regard to law, movement of persons, the freedom to choose their residence and domicile. Okay, so there's no restriction of a woman if she decides to change her domicile, she decides to change her residence, and free movement of women. Article 16 prohibits discrimination against women in matters relating to marriage. Okay, in particular, it provides both men and women the same right to enter into marriage. Women have a choice to make with regard to their spouse, the same rights and responsibilities during the marriage and also during its dissolution. It's not only the responsibility, it's not only that men should be held responsible or women should be held responsible for a breakup or anything that happens. Men are equally responsible. Okay, the women also have the same rights and responsibilities as parents to decide on the number of children they would like to have, to decide on the spacing of the children, the space between 2 kids or 3 kids, as should also be done jointly by men and women. The same personal rights as husband and wife to choose the family name. To what do I decide to go with my maternal name? It's a choice that's given to me. It's not necessary that after marriage I have to take on my husband's name. If I decide to go on with my maiden surname, I should be allowed. If I decide to continue my occupation and profession, I should be allowed. Okay. And the same rights with regard to ownership, acquisition and administration, enjoyment and disposition of property. Property may be bought by the husband, but wife also has a right and a share in that property. Okay, whether free of charge or for variable consideration. So both jointly own it, both have a share in it, and women cannot be denied this right according to the provisions of the CEDAW. Article 17 to 24. These articles of the CEDAW, I've not gone dwelt much into it because this largely deals with the whole procedure of organization of a committee that is to be installed under the CEDAW. The composition and procedures, the CEDAW not only provides us with provisions on what forms of discrimination, but also has a committee which is a hierarchical structure with rules and regulations of how matters that come before the CEDAW can be dealt with. Okay, and it also talks about national and international legislation, obligations of states. So the states that are signatories to the CEDAW have to establish this committee of the CEDAW. I'm not going to do administration on the CEDAW because I felt it was not required. But let us see what has been the impact of CEDAW and how it has brought about change. Okay. Now, CEDAW, the implementation of this convention, how it is being implemented, the provisions of this convention is largely monitored by a committee on the elimination of discrimination against women. Okay, that's a committee that I largely bypassed in my previous slide. Now, this committee that is established consists of 23 experts nominated by respective governments and elected by the different state parties. These 23 experts that are nominated are people of a high moral standing. They are competent in their field under CEDAW. Okay. Now, every 4 years, the states that are as signatories to the document are expected to submit a national report to the committee, indicating the measures they have undertaken and adopted to give effect to the provisions of the CEDAW. Okay. Now, the impact of CEDAW, the overall impact. CEDAW has been a key instrument or key tool for advancing women's rights and gender equality. Okay. Today, if we have so much of promotion of women's rights and talk in terms of gender equality, it is thanks to the CEDAW. It also provides a basis for judicial decision, constitutional, legal, and policy reforms at the country level. So whatever changes we find coming about in different parts of the world, in different countries, it's largely because these countries are adhering or following or keeping to the provisions of the CEDAW. In many countries, CEDAW has helped to strengthen the provisions in the Constitution, guaranteeing equality between men and women, and providing a constitutional basis for protection of women's rights. Okay, today we have so many laws enacted by our own country that we see largely are in keeping with these provisions of the CEDAW. Okay. Has also made position and led to the as result of which we have participation, or at least a margin, a substantial increase of participation of women in different affairs. It has allowed optional protocol of the CEDAW has come into force in the year 2000. Now, this optional protocol is a procedural protocol which introduces additional mechanisms to bring about the implementation of the provisions under CEDAW. This protocol allows women and girls, alone or in a group, which is a very good thing, to submit complaints directly to the CEDAW committee if they consider their human rights protected by CEDAW as violated, and the CEDAW committee can redress them. I think the CEDAW, I look upon it as a landmark decision brought up by the United Nations, largely to guarantee and protect the rights of women. And this is more so, my aim and objective was basically to enlighten you, my dear friends and faculty members, on what are the provisions and how it largely seeks to protect our rights and guarantees us and gives us an opportunity to participate not only in the politics, but also in the social, cultural, and varied fields that are open to us today, okay? This have largely been this, which I've listed to you. Thank you for your patient hearing. Virus. One of the questions posed was, why does CEDAW allow reservations for state parties? What do you mean by reservations for state parties? CEDAW wants state parties to undertake certain steps towards seeing. What I understand is that when CEDAW refers to state parties, that CEDAW refers to those countries that have signed the CEDAW to undertake certain steps towards ensuring what I call as participation of women, ensuring what I call as better, participation of women. Okay. Reservation for state parties, basically talking about what measures the states can take to ensure greater participation of women. That's what I look at. Okay. CEDAW is, I'm sorry, I have no idea how CEDAW is monitored, but we have the CEDAW committee that is largely established under the provisions of the CEDAW to attend to problems that come up. Okay, I said every 4 years, states have to make their representation to the CEDAW or what steps they have taken towards implementation of the provisions of the CEDAW. Okay. Has part in property purchased by a wife or not? See, in a marriage, it's a joint contract between husband and wife. So property purchased by a wife is jointly owned by both parties. Okay, it's a joint decision or jointly owned. So they can claim to part of property purchased by the wife. I think they can claim. Because if it's a joint decision, it's a jointly made, both have access to it. Okay, it's not only on one that has access to it. Okay. Any more questions?
wonderful and thought-provoking lecture on CEDAW, and thank you for familiarizing us with our rights, our legal rights guaranteed under CEDAW. Up next, we have our student speakers who would enlighten us by sharing their experiences and observations as young women from India's two prominent states, that is Jharkhand and Goa. This session would be moderated by Ms. Nazrana Bandushe, Assistant Professor, Department of Political Science, Carmel College, for whom the topic of women has been always dear to her heart. So over to you, ma'am, for this session.
Good day, everybody. Gender equality is very important to achieve human rights for all. But we know, yet discrimination against women persists everywhere, not only in India, but around the world. Women are discriminated in different areas like health, education, employment, marital rights, inheritance, property rights, etc. So most of the discrimination are with regard to family laws. So not wasting time, now let's hear the perspective of young women. I call upon first Neha Kumari of Nirmala College, Ranchi, to share her perspective about role of young women as she perceives in Jharkhand. Neha Kumari.
Am I audible to you, ma'am?
Yes, very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
You will be given 3 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, I'll tell you when it's 3 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, a little more time, but restrict yourself to 3.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Can I start?
Yes.
A very good morning to all. Respected Principal, Nirmala College, Ranchi, Principal, Carmel College, Goa, all the dignitaries and my dear friends. I, Neha Kumari, would like to share my views on the topic Women of Jharkhand, Past and Present. Behind every strong and independent woman, there are days when she was alone and helpless. There are lessons she has learned from life, and there are stories of battle and struggle which she has fought alone. Beneath this shield of confidence and strength, there is a plethora of sadness and pain she has endured, and from all these, she has come out. Situations of women of Jharkhand, they all came out, succeeded, and proved themselves. Our state, Jharkhand, is situated in the corner of peninsular, eastern corner of peninsular India, that was came into being on 15th of November 2000. As per details from census 2011, Jharkhand had population of 3.3 crores, which is estimated to be around 4.01 crores in 2020. Going by 2011 census, the sex ratio in Jharkhand is 948 females per 1,000 male, which is better than the national average. Women in Jharkhand are strong in mind, diligent, industrious, and have an identity of their own. They stand out in a crowd because of their own distinct identity, yet they suffer from numerous drawbacks. Literacy rate in Jharkhand is low, especially amongst females, as only 55% of females are literate. Since Jharkhand is the land of 33 tribes, tribal women face a number of roadblocks and obstacles. Health, education, and economic empowerment are the major issues. Health issues range from childbirth related practices among rural women in Jharkhand and the obstacles they face in seeking appropriate care. Since accessibility is a major problem in the state due to its rugged topography and jungles, and many health issues go unaddressed. Violence against women is a serious social and mental health problem and human rights abuse worldwide, and Jharkhand is no different. Here, the women work harder than the men but earn peanuts as most of them are in unskilled sector. Adolescent health is a major concern in the state as most of the tribal girls are anemic and undernourished. They grow up to be underweight adults who give birth to a low birth babies, and the cycle of ill health continues. Migration is another roadblock that affecting the development of the state. There is large-scale female migration from the rural areas to the big cities where they find alternate occupation in the informal sectors. Social evils like witch hunting are the common in Jharkhand, where property rights are not clearly defined. Very often a childless widow is termed as a witch and her property get usurped by the powerful menfolk. Considering the present scenario, women's political representation in Jharkhand has seen a constant upward surge since the state came into existence in 2000. The, pro- the proportion of women members in the Legislative Assembly in the state Vidhan Sabha doubled from 5% in 2000 to 10% in 2014. Experts say tribal women have become more active in political activities. Today, 14 states have 50% to 85% representation in women Panchayati Raj institution, and Jharkhand leads with the 58%. Tribal women's participation have increased from many reasons in Jharkhand, including their decision-making power at home, being active in Gram Sabha meeting, and the discussion on the local issues, which is a positive step in the way of improving democracy and governance in India. As Michelle Obama once said, there is no limit to what we as women can accomplish. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm not able to.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am, I'm able to hear you.
Are you done with your views?
Yes, ma'am, I'm done with my views.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Very nice, Neha. Very enlightening views on how you feel, how you perceive the tribal women in Jharkhand. Okay.
Thank you.
Now I call upon Shivangi Arya to share her views about the role of young women as she sees in Jharkhand. Over to Shivangi Arya.
Hello everyone, I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible. Go ahead, Shivangi.
I would like to share my screen as well. Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes. Visible.
Okay. A very warm good morning to one and all present here. I am Shivangi Arya from Department of English, Nirmala College, Ranchi, Jharkhand. And I'm present here today to discuss my views and opinions on the topic, the future of women in Jharkhand. As stated earlier, women in Jharkhand are not weak in the present scenario. What they lack exactly is proper intervention and advocacy of female-oriented policies. Let us now discuss a few strengths of the women here in the state. It is heartening to note that the maternal mortality rate in the state has gone down significantly from 312 is to 10,000 to 135 is to 10,000. These statistics throw light on the fact that the state is free from all sorts of social evil practices like female feticide and bride burning. This is the state that has a female governor and a female vice chancellor, indicating the superiority being provided to women here. In fact, both these women belong to the tribal community. While speaking about female empowerment, the state has seen a surge in entrepreneurship among women in the past few years. And even cross-enrollment of females in higher educational institutions have also increased. The government has set up various bodies like auxiliary nurse midwife, Anganwadi workers, Sahiya, also known as Asha, for betterment of health and nourishment of women. There is a very unique community or group called as Ajivika Kisan Mitra, in which women are taught the effective means of farming and how in minimum resources, maximum outputs can be gained. The government of Jharkhand has also started Didi Cafe to uplift women employment in Jharkhand. In contrast to the strengths, the women of Jharkhand also have a few weaknesses. What are these weaknesses? These weaknesses are nothing but perhaps the inherent shyness of the women folk, their cultural restraints which prevent them from acknowledging the new ventures of the world. Jharkhand is a land and grows with abundance of opportunities. What we lack is proper leadership. Access and accessibility are two major threats of the women here in the Jharkhand. Some of them are physical, while others are societal and economical. And I'm pretty much sure that the years coming forth will witness Jharkhand as a fully developed state because, as we all know, where there is a will, there is a way. Now, what is the road ahead? Many schemes and plans are being launched by the government of Jharkhand every now and then to ensure maximum number of educated and independent women in the state. Some of them are as follows: Tejaswini Women Rural Empowerment Program, Swadhar Program, Kishori Shakti Yojana, Ujjwala Yojana, and many more. Action Plan for Women in 2021. Here are a few steps taken by the government for their development in future. Coming up with more women-centric healthcare units to increase the rate of women education up to 20% in the year 2021. Develop more women security cells. Waive off the 7% charges, 4% on stamp duty and 3% court fee on properties registered on the name of women. Make women digitally active. Gender budgeting scheme would be continued. Robust monitoring system would be put in place to continually access the progress achieved against the targets made in gender budgeting system. Henceforth, the path is definitely rocky, but the destination is even more fruitful. Gone are the days when women were considered to be the weaker sex and were dependent on men. Now women themselves are aware of their rights and they are coming forth in their road to empowerment. Hence, I conclude in the words of Hillary Clinton: human rights are women's rights, and women's rights are human rights, once and for all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shivangi. That was a nice your perspective and your speech on the role of women in a Jharkhand in future. Okay, and you said rightly said that women in Jharkhand are not weak, and I can see that the way you have spoken and the way the other co-speaker has spoken. Definitely women are not not weak. We are as strong as the as the other gender. Okay, and you have said that the mortality rate have gone down and women are coming up. Then you have a women vice chancellor and a women governor, and all both from the tribal community. That shows that women are getting empowered and are moving ahead. Thank you very much for your enlightening views.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Now I call upon Natasha Falha from Kamal College to express her views about or her perspectives on role of women in Goa. Natasha.
Thank you, Ma'am Nazrana, for having me.
Yes.
Esteemed
yes,
principals,
Natasha, yeah.
Esteemed principals of both institutions, faculty members, students, and all of you present on this webinar. I'm Natasha Palya, and as a Goan woman, I must say, I feel truly blessed and special. I know my opinion may not echo with every woman from my state due to various religions, classes, and cultures prevalent. But here is Goa and its women for you through my eyes. Just like the Goan boy is considered a little prince, the girl child is seen as a princess. Being born in the state of Goa gives the girl child a higher chance of survival compared to young girls across the country. Goa's low ratio of female feticide can be a direct result of Goa's female literacy rate that is fourth highest in India at 85%. The birth of a girl sends the family scurrying to distribute jalebis to family and friends. As the girl grows up, she finds herself surrounded by family and a state that supports and caters to her every need. Goa doesn't differentiate between boys and girls. In most of my friends' houses, boys are involved in kitchen work just as much as girls are allowed to drive cars. Parents allow their daughters to pursue their studies and pave their own careers. A Goan female doctor working in Goa's top hospital earns equal salary to her male colleague, just like a girl who bakes cakes earns as much as a boy does. I'm sure you've all heard of the term sossegado, which is a Portuguese word that translates to laid back. Yes, a lot of girls will be seen in beachwear while out with their family sipping on a mocktail. But otherwise, these women are driven and hardworking. Contrary to popular belief, the Goan woman's life isn't all about beer, pubs, and men. We come from a culture that is modest but influenced by the West as the Portuguese ruled Goa until 1961. Another feature of our state that we have adopted from the Portuguese rule is that our state supports women in the Union Civil Code that allows women to have an equal share in her parents' property. Thank you for listening to me. My co-student speaker, Glynis Godino, will continue with her views of the women of our state of Goa. Thank you.
Thank you, Natasha.
Yeah.
Okay,
Glynis, please go ahead with your views.
we see a lot of women freely traveling in Goa with churidars and salwar kameez, as well as in jeans and skirts, thanks to the Goan men who treat women with so much respect. The society in Goa is not too rigid about whom a girl marries. Caste and class have generally taken a back seat. A Goan Christian wedding has gained popularity across India for its open-air wedding halls with boys and girls swaying away together to music ranging from cha-cha-cha to Bollywood hits. The girls in Goa do not face any kind of pressure from their families to get married at the age of 18. Women travel freely in Goa. They drive cars, scooters, and can safely hop onto the local bus as it is safe even at 9 p.m., which is the timing for the last bus in Goa. It would be unfair for my friend Natasha and I to share our biased opinions on how Goan women are perceived. To see if our thoughts were shared by others' opinions, we googled women in Goa and found this. She is blessed with a relatively high standard of living, high literacy rate, good healthcare facilities, easily available education, the comfort to express her faith freely, along with an added benefit of spending a quiet evening on Goa's splendid beaches. The liberty that her state and family give the Goan girl is one of the reasons for her developing into an independent, strong, confident, determined, and compassionate daughter, wife, and mother. I would like to conclude by saying that Goa is truly a paradise for Goan girls whose only limit is the stars. Thank you.
Thank you, Natasha and Glynis.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Natasha and Glynis, about what is your perspective about women in Goa. Well, you rightly said it's for women. It's not only about beer and pubs. Our literacy rates are high. Yes, the boy is a prince and the girl is a princess in Goa, and we are going marching ahead with men in all the avenues and all the areas. Okay. I think a resource person has some questions which she would like to clarify and answer now. Over to Ms. Louisanne. You want to say?
Okay. The question, according to me, what do you feel that women should get in today's world? I would like to bounce a question back to you. What do you think women should get in today's world? Yes? What is your thinking that you feel women should get in today's world? I'm happy that the CEDAW has given us provisions that largely protect rights of women. The Indian Constitution has also guaranteed us our rights. So I don't see where opportunities are lacking as far as women are concerned. If you feel there's some area in which women have been denied or women, something more should come to women, I would like the answer to come from you. Okay. The next question. Yes. Somebody's responding.
Ma'am, I definitely feel that as women, we are equal to our male counterparts, and not only as far as education and things like that are concerned, but in general, a woman is as capable emotionally, mentally, a little less physically, but most of the things necessary nowadays are the emotional and mental aspect of how we conduct life. I think it's great that education is becoming a feature that people across the world are concerned about. And it's definitely a very major thing that is going to make such a difference to society as a whole, because we all know that the woman is a mother, and she is the one who is the main teacher, the first teacher of a child around the world. I think we're doing a great work as a country towards supporting women. I hear of so many associations conducting lectures and seminars on the same, and I think we're in the right direction. I really hope everyone across the globe gets an opportunity to be educated, because this is where we learn how important a woman is, and just important as a man. That ma'am.
Okay. I'm
Thank
taking
you,
up.
Andrew, for addressing the questions.
Now, the second question, which has come in the live chat box, is that the status of marital rape in India, and why is it legalized if the victim is above 15 years of age? Please remember that the status for marriage in India is 18 for ladies, girls, and 21 for boys. So I don't know if there's anyone getting married age of 15 as put there in the question. Okay. Now, what is the status of marital rape in India? I'm sorry, I have no idea what is the status. And there's nothing like a legal marriage for children below 18 years of age. Okay, so the question is to be rephrased or redrafted. Okay, the next question is, does CEDAW have a role to play with regard to reservation of seats for women in India? I think CEDAW definitely gave a positive boost to reservation of seats for women in India. Of course, we still have to fight and get reservation for seats for women in the Indian Parliament. But at the local level, at the panchayat level, at the municipality level, we do have reservation of seats, and we can see so much more reservation of facilities being made available for women. Okay. The next question that has come up, caged and the shadow pandemic, growing domestic violence, which is the greatest violence of human rights. In 1 in 4 countries do not have laws how to control domestic violence. I am happy to say, as far as India is concerned, the Indian government has sought to protect the rights of women under the Domestic Violence Act that was passed. Okay. Now, what happens behind during the period of the pandemic? It depends on the women to come out and lodge a complaint. Then is when you make it a case of domestic violence. Okay, neighbors and friends cannot register your complaint. It depends upon the women to come out and register a complaint at the police station that there's a case of domestic violence. Okay, so if as far as I'm concerned, I feel the onus is on the women to come forward and lodge a complaint. It's not for the rest of the people. And if she feels it's okay with her and she doesn't mind it, I don't know what more to say, but I feel that domestic violence, I'm happy that today it's a punishable offense, and we have in India a very good law that penalizes individuals who are guilty of domestic violence.
Thank you, Ma'am Louisanne, for addressing all the questions. And I would also want to thank all our student speakers and Ma'am Nasrana for moderating the session. Definitely the inputs were really good. So thank you so much for preparing on the same. Well, a famous theologian and a philosopher once said, if the only prayer you said was thank you, that would be more than enough. And realizing that no duty is more urgent than that of returning thanks, may I request Ma'am Nasrana, Department of Political Science, and also a member of the APSP Club, to kindly propose the vote of thanks. But before Ma'am takes over for the vote of thanks, just to inform the participants, a link for the feedback form would be posted in the chat box. Kindly fill up the feedback form before 12 noon today. And once you submit your feedback form, a certificate would be emailed to you in your inbox.
On behalf of Department of Political Science, Kamal College, and Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat, I extend my hearty thanks to our principal, Dr. Aldina Braganza of Kamal College, and Principal Dr. Sister Jyoti of Nirmala College, Jharkhand, for extending their support and making this webinar a success. A big thank you to our resource person, Ms. Louisanne Sequeira, HOD, Department of Political Science, for enlightening us on women's rights to the International Convention. A deep sense of appreciation to the student speakers from Nirmala College and from Kamal College. I also wish to express my gratitude to Dr. Debajani Roy from Jharkhand, from Nirmala College, Jharkhand, for motivating the students to speak, and Hazel Da Costa of our college for motivating our students to speak on the issue of their perspective on role of women. We also would like to acknowledge our gratitude to all our participants in the webinar today. A hearty thanks to technical support provided by the technical team and the Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat coordinators. Thank you, take care, and stay safe.
Dear participants, the link for the feedback form has been posted in the chat box. Kindly check your chat box and fill up the feedback form. The feedback form will be available to you till 12 noon today. And later on, a certificate will be posted to you once you submit your feedback forms. Okay, so as we near the end of this webinar, let us remember this year's theme for on the occasion of International Day of Girl Child, which will be celebrated on 11th October. That is My Voice, Our Equal Future. May we always have a voice to make a difference for ourselves and the society at large, because it is said, each time a woman stands up for herself, she stands up for all women. So let's be the change that we want to see, and let's make a difference for all of us around us. Thank you. God bless you.